Hello. I'm Evelyn Redwine, and it's interesting because I did a lot of research on solstice and the holidays that happen around it, and I see light in darkness here and endurance, and it's amazing and renewal. And it's like, and the story that was told, I saw some of my Cherokee ancestors' beliefs about the bears and lighting fires and saying prayers and it was just amazing to see all of these things come together that I've been learning about, some more things, and it's just amazing. But this message is actually called, What Are We Celebrating? Today is the winter solstice, also known as midwinter. The shortest day and the longest night of the year takes place in December in the northern hemisphere and June in the southern hemisphere. So I wonder if the Aussies find it strange that we have snow on Christmas as they're enjoying summer beach parties with Santa. Because of their connection to agriculture, many ancient societies around the world celebrated the winter solstice or the rebirth of the sun. They built monuments which aligned with the movements of the sun and stars throughout the years and created traditions based on those movements. Pagan societies and indigenous peoples celebrated with rituals that focused on community and survival. The 12 days of Christmas? Well, that originated in Egypt 5,000 years ago. During the solstice, they celebrated both the sun god Ra and Horus, who is actually the god of sky and war. And they had a festival that lasted 12 days, corresponding to the 12 divisions of their sun calendar. At the winter solstice, the Egyptians filled their homes with green palms and papyrus reeds to symbolize the triumph of life over death. Kind of seems familiar. Early Romans marked the solstice with a feast called Saturnalia in honor of Saturn, the god of agriculture. The Romans knew that the solstice meant that the fields would be green and fruitful soon. To mark the occasion, they decorated their homes and temples with evergreen boughs. In Northern Europe, the Druids, the priests of the ancient Celts, also decorated their temples with evergreen boughs as a symbol of everlasting life. The Vikings, that's where we get mistletoe. They honored mistletoe, which is another type of evergreen, for its role in the death of Balder, the god of light. As late as the 1840s, though, most Americans viewed Christmas trees as pagan symbols and shunned them. The countries with the earliest accounts of the Yule log were all once part of the Roman Empire. In the 6th century, the Bishop of Braga listed a variety of pagan practices from the calends of January that were still being performed by Christians and that he considered to be devil worship. So what were their heinous crimes, right? Well, they were adding garnish to tables, laying laurel, and pouring grain and wine over the log in the hearth. The Yule log. Traditions like the Yule log became fused together with Christian traditions and symbolism. Lighting candles, decorating with evergreens, and celebrating the rebirth of the sun are examples of ancient rituals we continue to observe today. While some solstice traditions have been woven into Christian and secular customs, the pagan origins remain an important part of their history. So, is this really Christmas? Some researchers believe that Jesus was likely born in the autumn during the high holiday season, and his coming was announced in the sky on Rosh Hashanah. So how did they land on December 25th? Well, sages believed that righteous men were born and died on the same date on the calendar, just a different year, which led some people to assume that great men died on their conception dates. So if Jesus died on March 25th, which a lot of people believe, following their logic, you move forward 9 months, and you get December 25th. But really, who cares? I mean, a date is just a date on a calendar, right? What really matters is that we honor the event or the person's memory and legacy with what we do, our actions. After all, religion is what you do to honor your beliefs. So, are we as a nation honoring our beliefs? What we value, we care for, and are willing to sacrifice for. The Gift of the Magi, written by O. Henry in 1905, is a short story of a couple who had scrimped and saved but still didn't have enough money to buy each other a gift at Christmas. Each of them sold what mattered most to them to get the other one what they needed and longed for. O. Henry closes this story with, "In a last word to the wise of these days, let it be said that of all who give gifts, these two were the wisest. They are the Magi." If we believe that people are valuable, we make sure that they're cared for, that they're safe, well-fed, have freedom, liberty, equity, and equality, no matter who they are and where they are from. Either life is valuable or it's not. I'm going to stop here for just a second and say, I noticed something on your website. It says that this is a welcoming church. You're an inclusive church, which is so much more. It's putting a different value on people like me, people that might not fit everywhere. So thank you for that. Our own life does not contain value above another person. Therefore, when we see a stranger suffering, we should treat them with the same respect and kindness that we show to those we love. In Matthew 12:33, Jesus said, "A tree is identified by its fruit. If a tree is good, its fruit will be good. If a tree is bad, the fruit will be bad." In Luke 6:45 and also Matthew 12:34 and 35, Jesus reinforced this concept. "A good man out of the treasure of his heart brings forth good, and an evil man out of the evil of his heart brings forth evil. For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks." At this point, I have to ask myself, as a Christian, am I bearing good fruit? Am I willing to sacrifice what I want to give someone else what they need? Is our country bearing good fruit? How about the church? When I look at people who claim Christ as their Savior, applauding ICE as it separates immigrants from their families and homes, and I don't hear them cry out as people are abused in full view, I'm both saddened and angered. What I see instead is boastful hypocrisy coming from those who claim to shine the light of Christ in the world. People who wear Jesus Saves t-shirts, plaster fish bumper stickers on their trucks, and put Jesus is the reason for the season signs in their front lawn should at least be living out what he taught. I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Jesus punctuated this statement by adding, "Whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me." I see apathy on the faces of those who shout loudly at even the thought of losing their guns or hearing someone saying anything but Merry Christmas around this time of year. I watch as they say nothing while people in need have their food, insurance, and rights stripped from them, and the death toll from gun violence continues to rise. Again, I must ask, what kind of fruit do I see growing on their trees? And what about mine? For many, this season brings out the giving spirit, a desire to serve and offer comfort to those in need. This is where I see light in our current darkness and hope in a time of fear. As I look around this room, I see those who have been willing to make a stand, to sacrifice what matters most to them, their comfort, their time with family, and at times even their safety and freedom, in service of those who Christ called the least of these. I see your light shining amidst the darkness. I see the fruit that you bear. Here in this place where many beliefs walk side by side harmoniously. When I look at the hearts of the people I have come to know here at CUUB, I see love, joy, and peace. I see people who have the strength to endure, who show kindness, and whose goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control are evident. These are attributes which seem to be lacking in certain sections of our country right now. I guess what I'm saying is that I see a contrast. It just goes to show that it's not our beliefs that make us righteous. Our righteousness and our fruits, they're on full display in our actions. The winter holidays, both modern and ancient, contain common themes of gathering of family, friends, and community, acts of generosity, and storytelling. It is a time of renewal, change, and endurance with hope, joy, and reflection. To celebrate the triumph of life over death, of light over darkness, of rebirth of the sun, and the birth of another kind of sun altogether. Using what was literally a regular occurrence that everyone could relate to, the movements of the sun, our ancestors created metaphors for good versus evil, struggle and hope, and created the ability to envision an end to suffering in this world when it may be difficult to see, and a means through which we can find hope for a better future to come, to endure and survive. This year, at the solstice, it is easy to look around and see the darkness and feel the chill that it brings with it. But this year, I'll choose to look forward toward the coming of the light and what I hope will be a better future for each of us, for this congregation, for our community, our country, and our world. As we work together to share warmth and shine light amidst the darkness, I believe that we can also look forward to brighter days to come. And that is something I can wholeheartedly celebrate. Thank you for being an inspiration to me and for giving me hope.